for these amendments almost boil down to saying that nothing can ever be changed for the better. Yep. This is indeed a peculiar psychological quirk of human beings, but it's not borne out by history. And as my noble friend Lord Lamont said, if this amendment is passed and we are in a customs union but not in the European Union, then the UK would be obliged to operate a system of external tariffs with no say in setting them. The UK would not be able to enter into new trade agreements with other countries around the world. The UK would be bound by the European Court of Justice in terms of rules, standards, and that would apply even in the domestic economy. The UK would be significantly worse off than it is today. My Lords, a customs union is by definition a form of discrimination. Ricardo, Cobden, Gladstone, those great liberals would be spinning in their grave at the thought that their descendant party today is in favour of this form of trade discrimination. The answer to growing protectionism in the world, my Lords, is not to retreat inside a protectionist bloc of slow-growing countries that constitute just 10% of the world's future economic growth, but to seek free trade opportunities wherever we can find them. The answer is not to discriminate against African and Asian economies, but to be open to all. Is not to turn our back on our friends in the Commonwealth, eager to do trade deals with us in this week of all weeks. Not to yearn to keep a hold of nurse for fear of finding something worse. Not to embrace a model of harmonisation and identical regulation designed to prevent and extinguish innovation, but one of mutual recognition to learn how to achieve better ends by better means. Not to rely on a wall of protective tariffs to keep the world at bay, but to play to our strengths as a common law, English-speaking, scientifically advanced nation of shopkeepers and entrepreneurs. Not to be parochially regional, but to be ambitiously global. And not to listen to millionaire lovies and trekkies gathering in Camden. My Lords, I am genuinely surprised that some in the parties opposite want to discriminate against Africa with an average agricultural product tariff of 14.8%. with 25% tariffs for sugar refining, 20% for animal products and 31.7% for dairy products. Removing tariffs. I thought there was no interventions.
The original mover should not be interrupted. I just want to ask the noble lord where he gets his idea that being in a customs union with the European Union will mean imposing tariffs on Africa when the European Union has zero tariffs on all African countries.
The
middle stump.
The European Union has an external tariff. It applies to a considerable number of products from Africa, not all, admittedly, but it does apply to a considerable number of them. It also applies to Caribbean countries and Asian countries. And there is a 20% tariff, for example, on tomatoes. My Lords, to those who have not yet made up their minds how to vote on this amendment, I beg you to recognise this amendment for what it is. It is an attempt to wreck this bill and to prevent Brexit.